What's up, deviants? Welcome back to the Naughty Corner. We are on the unceded territory of the Wanneroo Nation, and this is Quarters in Session. We are a Reddit Reads podcast where game recognizes game. We judge assholes on the internet because we know we've been one. We offer advice on shitty situations because we know we've been there, and we give our Aussie cultural takes because you wouldn't know what the fuck we were talking about if we didn't. I am here in the Naughty Corner with Chloe. Welcome, Chloe.
Thank you.
We have some shit cunts and sick cunts. Am I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend of 10 years after he proposed during my best friend's wedding?
Fair. You don't propose during weddings unless you have explicit permission.
Well, for all we know, they did. Let's find out. My 36 female best friend, Amy, 37 female, just got married last week. I was her maid of honor and I worked the bone to make sure her wedding was a success. For the most part, it went well. My friend looked beautiful, the food was great, the flowers and decorations, incredible. She was so happy and made me feel proud I was part of the group that worked so hard to give her such an important day. Amy and I have been friends since we were in elementary school. We've reached all of our milestones since together, went to the same college, even live in the same neighborhood. She's the closest I have to a sister, and even our parents joke we're reborn twins. Needless to say, Amy's one of the most important people in my life. At the end of my master's, I met Danny, 31 male. He hired me as a tutor and after a few sessions asked me out. I had never dated someone younger, but he was very sweet and I liked him, so I said yes. We've been together since. He had an older brother, Bobby, 39 male, who was introduced to Amy in a house party I hosted a few years later. Oh, so they're dating brothers.
Sister wives. That's cute. Then they become sister-in-laws. Aw.
Not anymore. Well,
nope.
The two were immediately taken with each other and started to date. Eventually, Bobby asked Amy to marry him. During the wedding preparation, Danny casually mentioned how it would be a cute idea to propose during his brother's wedding. Bobby agreed, but both Amy and I immediately shut it down. I told Danny that I found it kind of tacky. A person's wedding is a special day for them, and tainting it with stealing the attention was just wrong. After that, they stopped talking about it, so we kept going with the preparations. At the wedding reception, Bobby suddenly stopped the music to make an announcement. He said the day was very special as he was marrying the love of his life and kept singing praises to Amy. I thought it was a cute gesture, so I just moved to sit on my chair to listen to the speech. Then Bobby said a sentence that made me dread what was coming. And now the day is more special thanks to my brother's announcement. Suddenly, Danny was in front of me, kneeling with a box. Amy was in tears and ran out. I screamed at Danny, telling him that he was a jerk and went after Amy. At first, she was angry with me, thinking I was involved with it. So were the other bridesmaids. Thankfully, one of the girls had seen me call out Danny and told the others about it. I told Amy I would never do this to her. We hugged and we got all out of the venue to Amy's suite. We found out later, through the men's mother, that Bobby gave Danny permission without speaking to Amy about it. Well, obviously, Amy's fucking crying, and it was Bobby that announced it.
It's a great way to get divorced right after you get married.
I think at that point you can get an annulment.
Yep.
I don't think we have annulments here in Australia.
I don't know.
I called Danny that same night to tell him we were through and wanted him out of my apartment by the end of the week. I sent my mum to pick up my dog and parrot just to make sure he didn't do anything to them or take them with him. He ended up taking my TV and game consoles. I had them since before he moved in, but his mother was nice enough to bring the consoles back. For all I care, he can keep the stupid TV. Amy is now trying to get her marriage annulled. Ha! Since she feels she can't trust Bobby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The boy's mother have been nothing but a saint to us. Well, look at you. If you couldn't fucking raise your boys to make sure they didn't pull shit like this, the least you can do is take responsibility for that.
If you don't raise your kids right, you'll be raising your grandkids.
She even paid back to Amy the money she spent on the wedding and told her to use the honeymoon with one of her friends. So Amy and I are packing to go to Australia. Welcome!
Yeah.
She and Bobby had to postpone it for a month so they could get a whole month of vacation. I'm a freelancer that works from home, so I'll just take my laptop. Since this whole fiasco, Danny has been blowing up my phone. Some of his friends have joined in this too, claiming I'm an asshole for throwing out 10 years of a relationship over a mistake. But he only wanted to make a cute gesture to prove how much he loves me, except the cute gesture was taking over my best friend's wedding after I had said how much I dislike that kind of stuff. Still, a part of me thinks I'm overreacting. So Reddit, am I the asshole in this?
No. You can't start an engagement or a marriage without some level of communication.
Well, there was
no communication.
There was clear communication. Don't fucking do it. And both of these men ignored both of their partners. Like, well, no, we feel this way, so that trumps what you think and feel. It's like you've literally just been told this isn't how someone would want to be proposed to.
Exactly.
And that's how you propose to them. That is literally going to be the foundation of your marriage. Basically, you sharing your feelings
Exactly.
and them not giving a single fuck if it means
'Cause-
them getting what they want.
Exactly, which is, I'm so glad that this woman decided to annul the marriage, because that is a huge red flag of what they will do the next time there's an argument, or even further down the line if they have kids and stuff.
Yeah, just any disagreement. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, okay, if I go under in a C-section, make sure that the doctors know I want this, this, and this. And then she goes under and comes out of it, and he's just blatantly ignored
It's
those instructions for whatever he
terrifying.
wanted instead. Nah, man, you can't be trusted with little things, and this is not a little
This is
thing.
not little either, too.
Then yeah, nah, mate. Especially just the sheer level of greed and selfishness and lack of consideration. Amy specifically said that she didn't want this to happen on her wedding day.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, me starting the next stage of my relationship is worth alienating my sister-in-law, because you're literally taking something from her that she wanted for one of the biggest days of her life.
Yeah. Being
for yourself.
so selfish by trying to do all this. It's honestly just so.
Yeah, nah, can't do it. We have an update.
Oh, yes.
To the people PMing me to call me names or insult me, have the balls to post in public or just leave me alone. I have no interest in cowards that hurl insults in private. Also, for the record, even if it had been the perfect proposal, for my own reasons, I would have refused to marry. We were not in marriage talks. Far from it. See, that's even worse. Like, not only have you been told that's not how you want to be proposed to, but you've been told that you are not in a position to get married at all, and you're still trying to push through that. Like, bro, where is your respect for consent?
Marriage, to me, or a proposal, should be done on both sides, with both people agreeing that, yes, we want to get married. Yes, if you want it to be a surprise, just don't tell the other person when you're going to propose.
Yeah.
But still have that talk, that conversation.
Well, apparently that's been made clear, which, if anything, makes the attempt at proposal even worse. Because if you're aware that you are not in marriage talks because, you know, your relationship isn't where it should be as you're going into a marriage, specifically putting someone on the spot at someone else's wedding, which is already a cunty thing to do, but surrounded by people that are putting on social pressure for you to say yes, that's fucked. You are attempting to coerce the response that you want. Clearly, there's shit going on in your relationship that you don't want to fucking do the work to fix, but you don't want to lose this person. So you're attempting to box them in the corner, and she didn't fucking fall for it.
Exactly. Thank goodness she got away from that.
Yeah.
Yelling at her is not her fault.
Oh, this is obviously all butthurt dudes in her PMs calling her out, going, why would you not say yes to that proposal? Gee, I don't know. Hoes before bros, I guess. I'm down for my bitches before I am ever going to be down for a man that I have to keep in my house that's going to steal my shit that my mum has that their mum has to ultimately give back to me. Who doesn't give a shit about my boundaries to literally follow the most basic fucking instructions.
I do have a solution for this.
Is it fire?
No. Marry the best friend. Become lesbian lovers and run away together.
Well, hey, if that's where they end up, more power to them. Unfortunately, there are far too many straight women out there who are well aware that whether or not you're queer is not a choice.
Yep.
To begin with, Amy and I are almost at the date to leave. Bobby and her have been talking and agreed to couples therapy after we returned from Australia. I've also talked with him and he apologised to me. He didn't know how fractured my relationship with his brother was, but figured it out by the way Danny acted after we broke up.
Didn't.
For the people telling me I should have given him a chance, well, I wouldn't be surprised by that, because men in general, especially, definitely men like this, they don't admit when they're fucking up.
Yep.
They will brush shit under the rug. They will say shit's not a big deal, or they will out and out completely avoid the situation. So,
and we're not saying all men.
No, I'm saying all men like this.
Yes.
They are doing shit that they don't want to be called out on. Then if you do share it with people, then it's like, why are you sharing business with other people, you know?
Maybe you just want to get more perspectives.
Yeah, but men like this don't want to do that. They want to hide all of their flaws, so that way when the missus finally fucks off because they don't want to deal with it anymore, they can be like, it came out of nowhere, she just left me. And
I
then
didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and then everyone on his side of things can be like, why would you leave a good man? Because they didn't fucking know what was going on behind closed doors, because they're not sharing it. So it does not surprise me that Danny's brother, Bobby, wasn't aware of what was going on in their relationship, and he genuinely thought that, like, at the very least, it wasn't a malicious attempt to kind of help his brother pigeonhole
Yes.
OP.
Unless he's just saying all this just to get back with this lovely lady. I think that their situation can be, just with the lady who's married, can be salvaged if they do it the right way. If he does admit, like he did admit that he was at fault, it can
He's
be
like, yeah, I
salvaged.
fucked up. There was shit I didn't know.
Yep.
And hopefully in the future, with the couples therapy they're planning to attend, that he is then going to actually consider
with his wife
the voices he's not hearing. You know,
Or
like, okay,
just-
this is the side of the story that I have, but what if that's not accurate?
Or just talk to his wife, because she said she literally did not want this happening, and he did it anyway. Talk to her.
Yeah, he could have literally just brought it back up with her again, like, okay, Danny's been talking to me about this. I really want to do it. I think it would be a great idea. How firm is your boundary on this? Like, what are your concerns here? Is there a way we can make it special for them? And she probably would have given him a heap of context and he would have gone, oh, fuck, and not done it. For the people telling me I should have given him a chance or that he wanted to do a gesture out of love, you are insane. It wasn't love. It was him trying not to lose his meal ticket. Bobby told me after our breakup, Danny began to bad talk me to his family, claiming I stole all his money, his apartment, his pets, etc. He even started to claim he was going to sue me. All of our stuff in the apartment was paid by me. Our pets were my pets. The dog was my birthday gift, and I've had my parrot since I was in middle school.
Yeah.
At first, Bobby was on his brother's side until he noticed Danny wasn't working ever. When he asked Danny about his job, Danny fessed up and admitted that all the money he had was what I would give him. Apparently, he still refuses to work, instead couch surfing from friend to friend. Apparently, Danny admitted to Bobby he wanted to marry me mostly because I was okay with him not working and he didn't want a wife nagging him about work. He wanted to play all day while I paid all the bills and did the house chores.
He wanted a mother.
Yeah.
I really do not like men like this. They infuriate me so much. Just get over yourself.
Well, like, I understand the why. Because to be honest, I feel like everyone needs and wants a mother. Like, if we could all have someone assigned to us that would just take care of us in that way so we could just rest and relax and chill, like, that'd be fucking awesome. But the lengths these men will go to manipulate and exploit the labor of other people to get it, that's the problem.
Yes.
Like, we would all love to be taken care of and have our laundry done and have meals cooked for us and not have to work so we could chill and relax and play and pursue our own endeavors.
No.
But that's not the reality in which we live.
Well, my partner is beautiful and lovely and does do some of those things for me, but I go out and work because I would go insane if I wasn't doing something each day, like going out to work.
Yeah, but like Ben and I have discussed previously in the past, it's an interdependence type of thing. So he does that for you, and then when he needs the time, you do that for him. So it's that give and take of the relationship, whereas this is entirely one-sided.
Yeah, no.
Bobby was very, very apologetic, but I told him it was fine. It wasn't. I just don't want to throw more wood into the fire when Amy and him are trying to somewhat get things worked out. I still have another 4 months on my lease, so I'll be moving in December. I have to admit, these last weeks being single have been the best I've had in forever. I'm happier, healthier, and I've been able to cut my hours at work without risking being paycheck to paycheck. Last, to the people saying, because I'm in my 30s, this might be my last chance, get the fuck out. I'm not interested in traditional family, being a wifey and popping out babies left and right. I'm more than happy being in a child-free partnership without some wedding. It's not me being feminist or woke or whatever. It's just that I find weddings stupid and I dislike children. I respect women that can live a traditional life, but that's not for me. And no, I never recovered my TV. A small price to pay to get my life back.
Rude.
By the way, I respect the supporting PMs, but as I said when I started this post, it's a throwaway. I plan to delete it later in the week. Thank you for the good advice of some of the Redditors, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer all the comments or PMs.
It's very understandable. I wouldn't answer any of those who said that, why did you give a good guy a chance? Because he wasn't actually a good guy. It sounded like he was taking advantage of her and mooching off her.
And pretty much if you're in the camp of, why didn't you give a good guy a chance, you're not a good person yourself.
No.
Because inherent in the all good guys deserve a chance is a fucking level of entitlement.
Oh, yeah.
That good people just don't have.
If you're good, you don't have to say that you're a good person.
There's a comment I noticed some telling things. Sending OP's mum to get the pets so he doesn't do anything or take them. Then taking the TV and game consoles. These say a lot. The fact that instinct is to protect living creatures from him and then he stole her things. I went through this with my ex and he was nuts. Stalked me for years after I finally left him, which I was scared to do. The constant calls and texts. Good on OP for leaving. There are definitely red flags not mentioned here, or perhaps OP didn't notice them because they were covered by other things. Good on you and your bestie. You both deserve better. It's so good that you have each other.
I can relate. I've had an ex keep our cat that we had in the relationship. He pretty much took the cat to his mother's house, so I didn't even get a proper goodbye to the cat. And I loved that cat. It was very cute. I don't want to get in trouble for saying any true things.
Next up on Sick Cunts and Shit Cunts, am I the asshole for having my friend's toddler take her first steps while her parents weren't there?
I have been in that situation before.
Having worked in childcare,
having
yes.
worked in childcare and have taken the steps, you don't say anything to the parents. You just say that they're real close. You don't say nothing.
Yeah, if you saw their first steps, no, the fuck you didn't.
You didn't see it. You saw nothing.
Yeah, so I'm friends with this guy that I've known since kindergarten. He got married some years ago, and now him and his wife have a little baby girl, and she's currently at toddler age. I come over often enough that I'm used to seeing little bugger, and she's great. I don't have any other little kids from family or anything in my life, so it's been great seeing a little human grow. Every once in a blue moon, they ask me to watch her for a few hours while my friend and his wife get some date time or whatever they need to do. So I was hanging out with her, and I know that they've been trying to get her to take her first steps. I read about a trick where if you make them hold something and then they will walk without holding onto a surface, so I gave her a toy and filmed it, and it worked. I sent the video to them.
Don't film it. No, don't do it.
I sent the video to them and my friend didn't care. He was happy, but his wife was pissed. She was mad at me that they weren't there for that big moment. I don't have the type of relationship with her where I can have a deep one-on-one with her, but I talked to my friend about it and he's not upset with me, but his wife still is. She thinks I robbed her of a key moment. I did get it on film, but I get what she's saying. I had no malicious intent, but I was the asshole for getting the toddler to take their first steps. I honestly didn't think the trick would work, but it did. I get it. I agree with you. Yeah, you're still an asshole.
Yeah.
Because there are parents out there where those kinds of milestones mean a significant amount. The sort of investment that it takes to get pregnant, maintain a pregnancy, grow a whole human child, and then evacuate that child from your fucking body is intense. And so the level of entitlement that parents can have over access to those milestones can be incredibly high. It's also warranted. So I agree that you had no malicious intent. There was no ill will there. You weren't trying to take something from these parents, but you physically did not have the capacity to understand exactly what you were taking from them. And there are parents like me who don't give a shit about that kind of stuff, but
I probably wouldn't care, but my partner, I reckon he would.
Yeah,
me personally, with my experience, I know that they can. And it is okay if you don't see it. It is okay because eventually you will get to see it and it will still be a special moment. But as you said, the entitlement of some parents, it can be a big deal. And you don't know which is which, so you just shut up about it.
It's clearly you aren't in a position to understand the impact this would have had on her. But yeah, all you can do at this point, mate, is apologize and lesson fucking learned when it comes to this stuff in the future.
It's just,
I'm very sorry for what I took from you. It wasn't my intent. I didn't know it, that's what I was doing. All I can offer is a sincere apology that nothing like this will ever happen again.
To the person, not to the friend.
Yeah.
You may not be on that terms of one-on-one chats, but you got to get your balls and stand up and say those things. Because that would be so much more meaningful than just telling a friend.
Yeah. But also at the same time, like, say, go to your mate and be like, I would like to apologize to your wife in person. Is she willing to hear me out?
Exactly.
Because there is a thing where people are like, I don't want to feel bad about this anymore, so I have to apologize and they have to accept my apology. Otherwise, they're the asshole. Like, no, that's not a thing. If she's just like, no, I do not want to engage with you, tough shit. Live with the fact that she's not willing to accept your apology at this stage. Because people don't owe you an audience. When you're fucked up like this, or in any way, shape or form. Even if, in this case, there was no harm or malicious intent there.
they're still perfectly justified to also accept that they were wrong and just not accept an apology. It is completely fine. You don't have to accept everyone's apology just to make them feel better. It's not on you, it's on them.
One commenter, note to everyone, if someone else's kid had a first in your care, they didn't. You take that information to your grave. Another comment, my wife worked in a daycare and this was an unwritten but very clearly communicated policy. Shit, if my kid had started walking when my wife wasn't around and I didn't have a phone handy, I might have had to trip her myself. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, a follow-up comment. Not sure how tripping your wife would help the situation, but I'll trust the process.
For this instance, yeah, I wouldn't say anything to my partner about our child taking their first steps or doing their first milestones because I want them to experience it. I've sort of had those moments before with my siblings and that sort of thing, so I feel like I don't need it. Like, it would be great if it happened, but I would prefer that my partner experience that first.
Yeah, like you'd be angrier for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I am the one carrying the baby. I've had this experience and he's missed out on that experience. So I want him to...
He'd make a fucking great seahorse dad.
Yeah. That's why I stole a colouring in from you of the seahorse. Just colour it in for him.
Next, we are moving on to Q&A got cancelled. Once upon a time, the ABC, our Australian broadcasting company, a public company here in Australia, had a late night talk show called Q&A, where you would have different topics discussed of relevance currently in that week to the Australian people, and a panel of experts would help answer the public's questions. That got cancelled, so all you've got is us.
Yeah. So experts as in experts. I'm an expert on nothing. I just want me. I'm an expert on nothing.
My male 31, pregnant wife's female 29 friend privately made a very suggestive comment towards me this evening. How do I address this with my wife in the right way? A wife's best friend hit on her husband while she's pregnant.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The husband doesn't know how to address this with her. This evening...
Be honest straight away, because otherwise it'll seem like you're hiding it, and then she'll get even more pissed. If she's going to get pissed, she's going to get pissed anyway. Just come clean.
This evening, I went out with my wife, two of her friends, and one of our couple friends for dinner. My wife is almost 5 months pregnant with our twin daughters. I am insanely happy in our marriage, and I absolutely adore her with all my heart. I'm aware of the fact that she has a group chat with some of her close friends where they maybe share some intimate things in our marriage. She's made jokes about things some of her friends have said. One of her older friends in particular has made jokes and has been maybe a little overly playful about me, and I've kind of noticed she wasn't always joking.
Oh, dear.
I caught a bad vibe from her the times I've met her, and she would ask me super candid questions that maybe weren't appropriate to ask a friend's spouse. When I told my friend about things, she said she thought she was just joking and thought it was very funny, but I was 99% sure she wasn't. Anyways, at dinner tonight, my wife and the other friend left to go to the bathroom before the food arrived, and the other couple was at the far end of the table. She was sitting next to me on my right on the opposite end. As soon as they walked away, she touched my arm and said something along the lines of, "Hey, I know you and my wife's name really have a lot going on right now, and that it's a lot. If you ever need to talk about anything, I'm always here, and I'll always keep it between us." It wasn't what she said, but the way she said it, and it was very clear what she meant. I work in sales leadership and read people for a living, and there was no misunderstanding what she meant, and she's made several comments towards me before and after. I very directly dismissed it. She implied very suggestively that it was a standing offer, that's when I was very certain she meant something very different. The point is, I want to address this with my wife. I want to do it the right way. I know she won't be upset with me, but my biggest concern is that she will be dismissive at first and think it wasn't legitimate. She's also only been in the US for about 4 years and moved here from Sweden, and this girl is one of her first friends she's made, and she has struggled to make friends a little bit. I just want to be straight up without hurting her too much. How do I handle this conversation the right way?
Sandwich it. Good thing, negative thing, good thing. Ease it into it.
I don't know. I feel like, if anything, that would give her more reason to dismiss it, which is his main concern. So, like, when I have to go into something and I need people to take it in the way I intended it, I preface it. I had to go and pick up our daughter from school at one point, and you actually had to go and get her because I didn't have my car, because Ben had my car, because he had not done his rego in time, so his car was unregistered. And so I told this, I'm like, I need to preface this by telling you just how much I love you, but this is the situation and it can't happen again. And he's like, noted, I understand, it will not happen again. And that was it. And sometimes it's like, all right, I'm going to head off where I think you're going to go with this to make sure that you stay on where I need you to go with this. So
That's
I reckon
a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
We have an edit is here. I sat down and talked with my wife about it this morning and just told her everything directly and straight up while offering her assurance. She's handled it very well, but I think she's still processing some stuff. She also admitted that one of her friends told her in confidence that she may have said some not nice things about her and made several comments about me in conversations with other friends, so she was already kind of suspicious.
Yes.
The other thing my wife picked up on that I actually didn't is that we were sitting in a large partitioned U-shaped outdoor cabana booth kind of thing that can probably fit 10 to 12 people easily. My wife was sitting to my left and she sat directly to my right at the very end of the booth, only next to me, instead of sitting next to her or our other friends where there was a ton of open space. So she picked up on that. We're working on how to...
I picked up on that too. It was like, why is she sitting right next to him when the other couple's all the way over there? It's weird.
Well, there was another friend and the wife. So the other end of the table, I thought, maybe there was only like those 2 seats in between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot more seats though.
Yeah, well, 10 to 12 people, yeah, that'd be a heap.
Yeah.
We're working on how to handle it, but I think the best course of action is that I straight up message this girl, tell her I didn't appreciate that and that I told my wife. She will have to figure out how to address that with her friend group, but she basically said she can fuck off. I'm proud of her for handling that in stride.
Especially when she's pregnant.
Being able to maintain your composure like that. I suppose that there is that like 4 months in where shit kind of starts easing off on you, where your body kind of starts getting into the swing of things, but you're not so big that you're like, fuck everything, where you can kind of even things out in general.
I've heard some stories of some ladies who really had a lot of big emotions.
Yeah.
And over the smallest things, like their partner not making them the home-cooked meal that they made like 10 years ago, and them going off on it because it's not the same thing and threatening to divorce, which is a lot.
I feel like being pregnant is, to be as dramatic as possible, it's like being drunk. You return to the most primal version of yourself. So, a drunk mind speaks sober thoughts. Once you are pregnant, it's like you are taken over by the child version of you that has kept hold of every single injustice you've ever faced. And so the most core parts of you that you will likely repress for the sake of being a functional adult all come out. And so if you're a cunt, you become cuntier. Whereas, like in my position, I remember the biggest emotion that I had was that I went and bought myself a McFlurry, and this was back when soft serve ice cream was not recommended for pregnant people. So
it's still not recommended.
It depends. It depends on
for ages.
Yeah. So I bought it and I got it, and then I remembered I couldn't have it, and so I got very upset that I couldn't have it.
Yeah.
So pretty much I just become a fucking massive sook, which tells you who I am at the core of my being, even when I am at my cuntiest.
Yeah. I have just been really tired. I ate an entire tub of yogurt yesterday with a bunch of strawberries. Was sick afterwards. Not sick, but felt really sick afterwards. And that's about it. Oh, I've been very emotional. My partner, we were in Big W, which is like Walmart almost, for those in the other places. And he'd left me at the books because he knows that I like looking at books and stuff when he went over to the tech. But he didn't tell me this. And I just looked around and he was gone. And I absolutely freaked out in my brain.
Just became that 4-year-old forgotten in the supermarket.
In my head, I thought, well, I'm lost. Even though I knew exactly where I was. I knew how I could get home. But just without
I had the keys.
I had the keys. I had the keys. In my head, I was like, I'm lost. I named my partner and then almost cried when he came back to find me.
So I had a bit of a moment. Had to kind of collect myself. I'm okay. I wasn't okay, but I'm okay.
I wasn't okay for the rest of the day and still have been a little bit clingy lately. That's one thing I've noticed. Been a little bit clingy. Even though I'm the one mostly leaving the house to go to work.
You need to come with me to work. We have a final update.
Yes.
I ended up messaging her on Instagram yesterday evening and basically told her she was an awful person and how disrespectful that was, and straight up told her that my wife is aware. She has
Okay,
not
that's a lot.
responded, but I know she saw it. My wife told a few people privately over the phone what happened, and it kind of came out that several of them did not like her and were kind of off-put by some of the things she's said and done. But they were nice to her because she was my wife and one of the other girls' friend. Several of them actually genuinely apologized to her and me for not saying anything because they didn't know she was actually serious about some of the things she said. My wife...
Sometimes you just don't know, so you don't say anything because you don't want to stir the pot.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the messenger.
Like, for all we knew, she was your third, man. My wife has handled it super well, and I think it's a positive for her because now she knows who her true friends are and can surround herself with only positive influences, and I think that's great. I hate that she has to deal with this, but sometimes we learn the most from tough situations.
Exactly.
I'm glad that worked out because very often that goes down the worst. And most Reddit stories, and it's like, it turns out that my wife is a massive bitch. She's been cheating on me. Those twins aren't mine, and now I'm marrying the best friend.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
I know it's his choice, it's his opinion, but I wouldn't be as harsh while saying that she's a terrible person. Not that she isn't, but I just don't like conflict in general. So
some more from our Q&A got cancelled. People with sociopath friends, why are you friends with them?
They can be the best friends because they actually study how to be a good friend and will tell you like it is. I don't think I have any friends who are this way, but...
Well, usually, like, there are a lot of times when you just don't know because sociopathy...
Could also be autistic.
A lot of people immediately go sociopath and they think narcissist and narcissistic abuse. But while all abuse that someone with narcissistic personality disorder is narcissistic abuse, all abuse is not narcissistic abuse. Some people are just super fucking greedy and want what they want to take from people without giving anything back. Some of people are just fucking in it for the love of the game. Narcissistic personality disorder is specifically where certain supply is needed to validate their existence as a person. And there are a lot of people out there where you'd never know that they have NPD, specifically because of how much work they go to make sure that the supply they get from other people, they make a point of finding ways to do it that doesn't harm other people. There's an SBS show here in Australia called Insight. There was a specific episode on NPD where you had specific Instagram influencers, and she's like, I worked really hard with my therapist to find ways to use my social media to get that supply so that way I wasn't harming the people in my day-to-day life. And these are the things you never hear about.
Therapy is good just to get information about these things. Like, just...
It's always better to get information about these things.
No, yeah. If you have more of a spread of information and it's more common knowledge, this sort of stuff gets stigmatized a lot less.
Yeah, and it's a big thing in a lot of advocate communities around neurodiversity. There's a pretty big push for not demonizing the category B personality disorders, which narcissism falls into. But also important to note that people will confuse sociopathy with narcissism, and it's just not the same thing. So with sociopathy, I mean, hell, there are therapists out there who experience sociopathy, and they're like, how do you even engage with people or with with your kids, like if there's no compassion there? And it's like, well, if anything, it helps me help other people because I'm able to look at their situation logically and rationally without getting caught in the emotion of it. Understanding those things so that way you can actively work on being able to engage with people and their emotions, while also being able to kind of be an objective sounding board. There is a way to do it where you aren't being dismissive or lacking compassion for people simply because you don't experience the emotions that they are feeling in the same way. And that's the key difference. Basically, you can be a narcissist, you can be a sociopath and still be a fucking decent person. The more self-aware that you are of it, because what comes down to a decent person is bad people don't worry about whether or not they're a good person.
Exactly.
And
there's also other circumstances where people struggle to feel emotions the same way that other people personally, I've experienced this. Sometimes it takes me forever to figure out an emotion and why I'm literally have tears running down my face.
Yeah. And from an autistic perspective, often it's physically like you're tapped out cognitively.
Yep.
So it's like I have processed so much information today that whatever this information is that's coming from my body emotionally or from my environment or from someone else emotionally, I can't process
Yep.
anymore. I'm
I don't
finished.
understand.
I've run out of
We're
the
just
ability.
gonna ride the waves of emotion.
Yeah. Like D&D level, I need a long rest
Yep.
before I can process any further emotion.
Exactly.
People with sociopath friends, why are you friends with them? My freshman year roommate, the first thing he said to me was, I don't feel guilt, just so you know. I laughed, he didn't. Found out later it wasn't a joke. He had charts, literal charts of how people react in certain situations. Not to manipulate, just to understand.
This guy likes information. Makes sense.
When someone cried, he'd take mental notes. When someone laughed, he'd log the joke. People avoided him, called him creepy, robotic, but he never forgot my name, never ignored me, and never once pretended to be someone he wasn't. When my dad died sophomore year, he didn't say sorry. He walked into my room, placed a grocery bag on my desk, and said, your blood sugar will crash if you keep skipping meals. Then he handed me a schedule, food, sleep, class, printed, color-coded. His girlfriend broke up with him junior year. He missed her birthday, Valentine's Day, and their anniversary. Not because he didn't care, but the dates didn't matter to him. Next day, he showed me a calendar he built himself, reminders, alerts, backup alerts. I've optimized for emotional expectations, he said. Last year, they got married, had a baby at 3 a.m. He called me and said, I feel something in my chest. It might have been love or a heart attack. I'm still processing. Don't I fucking feel that one? It's like I don't know what this is, but it's something.
I feel that though. Sometimes I feel like I have to organize my life around like getting up, doing medications, having food at certain times. Otherwise, I just won't do it and will forget about it. And it's not because I can't do those sort of things. It's just honestly, sometimes I just forget. And if I don't have alarms on, I will forget.
Some people think sociopaths are monsters, but mine, he studies kindness like it's a science and he practices it better than anyone I've ever met. He doesn't feel things the way we do, but he chooses to do the right thing anyway. And honestly, that's more than most people ever do.
He works harder just to have the same level or go above and beyond other people. And it just sounds very hard and tiring, but he values it and puts the work in, which is even better
that's
than...
the point. That's the entirety of the point.
You know that this friend is a true friend, this person, because they put so much effort. Even though they may not feel those things, they understand why it can be important and they put in that effort. And honestly, that's a better friend than you can ask for.
Yeah, pretty much the harder something comes to somebody, the greater you should be appreciating their ability to do it. Like, I spent 45 minutes in the bathroom helping my son get the plug pulled out because I will not raise a YouTube generation kid that cannot develop the capacity to problem solve and be resourceful. So it's like, we're going to be in here as long as it takes for you to try as many different things as it takes to get that plug pulled out. And
experiments.
And yeah, just the joy of that shared effort when he finally managed to get the plug out was amazing.
And
it made it hit so much harder. So when it comes to the people who are struggling to do things, whether it's getting a plug pulled out or feel an emotion, or then if they do manage to show it, you can't do the whole, well, that's the basic expectation. Yeah. So I'm not going to give you a cookie for that.
They just left their room. Oh my goodness. Because if you make a big deal about that sort of stuff, they're less likely to do it in the future.
You can't assume that everyone's baseline is the same. Nope. So if someone struggles to get a plug out, then when they manage to, it's a big deal. When someone does struggle to experience emotions in the same way and therefore behavior isn't meeting expectations, when they do finally figure it out because it's something they've been wanting to do for others, it is a big deal. You can't just brush it off and be like, well, that's just basic bitch expectation. It's not the same thing. This is not men washing their ass. These are people whose baselines are literally different. And therefore, when people achieve things that their circumstances have made difficult, they should be applauded for that.
Yeah. And you don't know everything a person is going through. Everyone does not have the same life as you or the life experiences. They could be going through so much more. And it's not just a point of, oh, you just have to do better. You have to try harder. They're probably already trying harder than most people will ever do, just because they have a different life experience and different skill sets. And just because they can't do something little like...
Something you consider little.
Yes, something you consider little, like doing some dishes or getting up out of bed, does not mean that they are any less of a person or they can't do stuff, because they could be amazing at something else, and they usually are.
Yeah, it's like the people who are like, well, I raised 4 kids by myself and my house was always clean. It's like, cool, Becky, you don't have chronic pain and fatigue.
Nope.
So the effort it takes for you to wrap all of those kids up and get them in the fucking car to go get Christmas photos, it can take that much amount of effort for me to get out of bed.
Yep.
So let's not compare here and just appreciate that for the most part, unless they're an entitled cunt, everyone is doing the best they can.
It's like, good job, your brain functions better than mine. Sometimes people's brains, like my brain, can literally hold me back. And it's only because of a mixture of various different things and coping mechanisms that I can get through everyday life.
We are several coping mechanisms wrapped in a trench coat.
Yes.
But I also disagree with the cognition, like your brain functions better than mine, because if anything, our brains are working significantly harder.
That is true. I do take that comment back.
Yeah. What we're saying is your brain listens to you, whereas we have
conversations in your brain to convince yourself to do the thing.
We've got to have staff meetings and debates in order for a decision to be made as to what signals are even going to be sent to the body, and even then the body just might not listen.
Yeah, like it really doesn't. I can be at war with my brain at times just because it does not want me to do something, because it considers it too hard, or not even too hard, just because I've had so much going on elsewhere. It is very difficult on the other side to do the smallest thing. And sometimes getting up and doing the dishes, for some people that's easy. For me, it's not as easy, and I got to be in the right headspace. And it's very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, and then you end up fucking hating it, because it turns out that if you push through it and then your hands are shaky, so you drop a dish and it breaks, and it's like, if I just rested and then did these in the morning, that probably wouldn't have happened. And it's like the fucking brain was right the whole fucking time. And
or you can procrastinate.
Play that on repeat.
Or like you can procrastinate all day and like not do the thing, but when you finally do the thing, it can take a few minutes, but it's still the mental energy of working yourself up to do the thing can be a lot as well.
Yeah, we all got to find ways to game our own system.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining me in the Naughty Corner.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.